Hey guys, Jinlux here, back with our semi-blind playthrough of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. With me today is Jack, of course. He left, and then as soon as I got up to go pee and stuff, and refill my coffee, he's like, I'm gonna get back in your lap now. Because that's what he does. He wants kitty food. He wants fresh kitty food, I should say. He's like, the food in my bowl is old. I mean, to be fair, it's, you know, when did I give it to him? 4 hours ago, something like that. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not, we'll check it after this if it's super crusty. The problem is, he'll just, like, he wants new food, and then he'll just, like, lick the grease off, and then he'll be done with it. You know? You are too cute, my Jack man. Yes, you are. Alright, so, last time we beat Mistral, and Dulzaev blew himself up, and I totally forgot about that, actually. Then again, I haven't played this game for almost 10 years. It's amazing how fast time goes these days, right? This game came out in 2013. I played it in like 2018. And by then it was already like old. You know, and that, I mean, that's the thing. It's just a game is a few years and it's like, oh, that's old, right? I mean, we're literally at the point where things are flavor of the month, and it's literally, right? Like, game sales, apparently the first month is when they do all their money, and then they drop off a cliff. You know, and if you're an indie dev, then you really count on the long tail. But if you're a, you know, AAA developer or whatever, then basically those sales are meaningless to you after that point. So, but yeah, this game is 13 years old at this point, and it just feels ancient. I mean, let me rephrase that. It feels fine. It feels fine. I'm just, when I say it feels ancient, I mean like, it feels like I'm playing a really old game, and it's only been 15 years. I don't know if that makes sense. Probably not. Anyway. Alright, so we're into new territory, Jag baby. I've never gotten... Like, this is where I stopped before. Alright, so first things first. Let's check out, see if we can get more upgrades, and then we'll talk to everybody. Now, this is after... Is this after MGS 4 or 5? Interesting. No, so that's as far as that goes. We'll probably have to save up for the Foxblade. It has a special effect. You can get the unique weapons. Oh. Well, that's weird. Then, oh, wait, maybe this one has more. No, that can't be. I was like, the body? Huh, I wonder why... I wonder why my other save file had more life. That's strange. Rejek, you're so cute and soft. Alright. Maybe we'll go a little farther and they'll be like, oh, you could upgrade or whatever. Alright. Let's talk to all the peeps.
How are things back in Abkhazia?
Thanks to the full efforts of the workers, power was restored in just 2 days.
Pretty impressive.
Only the power plant is back online, though. Refinery itself will likely be out of service for months. Fuel sent from Supsa is being used to power the plant for now.
Just wish I could have stopped him.
Impossible without a sniper. And in our focus on anti-cyborg combat, we were unprepared. Thankfully, other than financial losses, few Abkhaz citizens were seriously affected. The plant workers had already been evacuated, and most were hired back on to rebuild the refinery. We received payment and are not being blamed for the suicide blast.
Good to hear. It should go a long way to help fix our reputation.
Duh. And even more good news. Desperado is down one of its top captains.
Let's hope they learned a lesson.
We can hope, but it is doubtful. We still do not know who is supporting them. Even if we shut Desperado down entirely, their backers could simply hire some other PMC.
Whoever it is, you really think they're interested in the pipeline? Who'd benefit besides the Georgians?
Hard to say. Whatever the plan was, it went up in flames with Dulcayev's suicide. The problem is that there are countless companies and governments profiting off the BTC pipeline. Whoever is behind it, they may be too big for a simple security firm like us to do anything.
Yeah, one thing we do know, though, is that Sundowner's more than just a pawn in all of this. We need to watch him. Trafficking or not, we need to stop their operation here.
Find the evidence, and perhaps we can do that. And Tovarich, be careful.
Well, yes, that's interesting. The refinery was also a power plant. I think they mentioned it, but I forgot about that. And then, yeah. I don't know.
Have you ever worked with this client of ours before?
Duh. Several active human rights groups engage in non-violent interventions like this one. Typically, they hire firms like ours to provide security and backup. Most serious human rights abuses take place in unstable regions, after all. Legitimate human rights groups, not fakes set up by oil firm or such things, they cannot handle it.
Yeah. It's different for private groups working in hostile regions, especially when some of that hostility comes from the local authorities.
Indeed. NGOs and security firms play a greater role in peacekeeping, too. You know, DDR business. Disarmament, demobilization, reintegration. Like the UN runs it. Usually, carrying weapons is not permitted for the group involved, for obvious reasons.
So outfits like ours run guard duty. If the locals don't like armed peacekeepers, then they pretend to be unarmed observers instead.
Duh. It's beneficial for the client if the locals are aware of the firepower backing them, though. I've drank tea with the sort of people my company would normally be pushing back with the butts of our rifles. It's very different from usual. More direct sort of security work, especially at beginning. But I got used to it. Less danger of unexpected conflict, and the pay is pretty good. We've built a good reputation for this kind of work. This is why NGO hired us for this job.
Yep. Yeah, the human rights violation stuff. I mean, I know there are groups that deal with that sort of thing, but you just never really hear about it. And then, you know, I wonder how much is just like posturing politicians and stuff like the UN. I mean, you have to remember, they had Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn out there to talk about frickin' misogyny in video games. So, I mean, clearly they're not the most... They don't really give a shit, let's be honest, right? And then you find out that like half of their... I think Trump went to talk to the UN a while back, and like half the stuff... Like, you see all the people, all the different delegates from different countries and stuff, and it's like, apparently half the translator stuff doesn't even work. Half the headsets doesn't even work. It's like, they're getting all this money, and they can't even have working, like, headsets and phones and stuff. Like, where is it really going? Is it just a front for some kind of bullshit, you know, money laundering thing?
How are things back in Abkhazia?
Thanks
Okay,
to
awesome.
all the fuel, and then thank the we
Right, and then, you know, they're like, oh, we needed a sniper. We would have needed a sniper to take out that dude. And it's like, well, first off, they would have been killed either by the cyborgs in the area or by the blast itself, because that was enough to, you know, a blast that's enough to move something hits it with that amount of force. So if it moves you, like, it's like being hit by a truck, it's not like Raiden, it's like, oh, it slammed him into a wall. It's not just that. That's the secondary effect, right? If you get hit by something with enough force to move you, it's like you're being actually hit with an object, right? So him being launched, and however heavy he is, several hundred pounds, you know, hitting with that level of force is probably like getting hit by a fucking semi-truck. Like, a normal person, I think, would have been liquefied, right? Even like 50 caliber rounds, right? Boris was using one at the very beginning, shooting at the tilt rotor, the helicopter, whatever. Something like that, if it misses you, it can still kill you just because of the air displacement, right? It's called cavitation. We learned about it. Well, I learned about it in the military after the fact, because it'll, like, the bullet going through displaces air at such a speed and force that it creates like a ripple effect around the bullet itself. So if they're shooting here and it misses you, the force of the air can like rip the skin off your body and stuff. You know, it's not, humans are really tough but really fragile at the same time, and the technology that we've created is pretty intense.
This trial mentioned someone from her past. Any idea who that could have been?
None. I checked her file again, couldn't find a thing. Definitely not Dolzaev. Probably not Sundowner either.
No. The way she put it, it didn't sound like anyone I've encountered so far. Maybe someone involved in backing Desperado.
If so, sounds like they're providing more than just financing. Maybe they share the same philosophy.
That'd be bad. People willing to die for their leaders aren't so easy to predict.
Yeah, but other than the wins, Desperado's cyborgs are all just hired contractors. They're probably emotion suppressed with nanos or drugs or whatever, but that's about it.
You're probably right.
Hmm.
You know, I've never really developed a taste for climbing through sewers. And Guadalajaras aren't exactly wowing me either. This place isn't gonna go up in flames, right? I think I saw something about that in the briefing.
You're talking about 1992? What a mess. Over 200 people killed. That was almost a half-century ago, though. You smell anything off? Before the explosions, residents complained they smelled gas from the sewers.
I'm in a sewer, Kev. You think I've got my smell receptors on? Local air analysis doesn't show anything potentially poisonous or explosive, though.
Well, you ought to be fine then. Besides, little gas explosion's probably not gonna kill someone like you.
Well, that's very encouraging. Seriously, though, Guadalajara is not a bad place. At least from what I've seen.
Oh, it's not. Second largest city in Mexico, after all. I've actually spent a lot of time down there. It's got a lot of charm. The architecture is a fusion of Latin and old colonial Spanish culture. The city's historic district is home to a massive cathedral overlooking the whole town. It's always bustling. It's a lot of fun just kicking back and watching the locals. Walking around the Libertad, taking in the sun with a cerveza in one hand, mariachi band nearby. No better way to spend a weekend, let me tell you.
If this PMC thing doesn't work out, you'd make one hell of a tour guide. Meanwhile, I'm down in this dark, filthy, humid, cramped sewer.
Also, if you ask me, the girls over there are the hottest in all of Mexico. You wouldn't believe some of the chicas I've chatted up. On the street, in the shopping malls, at the bars.
Sounds like better company than a robo-wolf and a bunch of plague-ridden mice.
Well, hang in there. I'll buy you a shot of tequila after we wrap this up. The city of Tequila's not far, actually. That's where it originated.
I'll take you up on that. Now let's get this over with.
Yeah, I remember something about, I don't know the whole story, but I remember there was like the cartel, because the problem is people are morons, right? So they had a chlorine. They had like tanks of chlorine, and they were like, get rid of these, dispose of them or whatever, because that's typically what happens. You get, you know, directives come from the top. This is how it was in the military too. They're like, do this, and then the middle management or whatever is like, they want this done by such and such time, just do it, I don't care how, get it done, figure it out. And they leave it to the, you know, the low people. I've been in that thing, and I'm like, okay, it goes in the dumpster. You said clean out this whole room, you're harassing me about it, fine. Everything's in the dumpster. And they're like, where's all the stuff? Oh, it's in the dumpster. We got rid of it. What do you mean it's in the dumpster? You said get rid of it. You said get rid of everything. And I tried to ask you, and you were like, dude. You know? So I guess like low like peons in the cartel had to get rid of chlorine, like chlorine liquid that becomes gas, right? And they dumped it in the sewer, and it spread out, and you know, it aerosolized, came up through the sewers and killed like a lot of people. I don't think it was in Guadalajara, but yeah.
Hey, Kev, let me ask you something.
What's up? We've been over pretty much all the...
No. Those girls in Guadalajara, you never told me what happened.
Jeez, man, we're in the middle of a mission here.
So they used you for free drinks and then took off, I take it, huh?
Well, they weren't really my type. I'm more of an intellectual, you know? I don't go for just any random girl at a bar. Looks are one thing, but I need someone I can talk to. Someone fun but clever with a good sense of humor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Look, Kev, you're in your 30s now. It's time to stop holding out for Little Miss Perfect. You just need to find someone nice. You know, settle down, start a family.
Okay, Mom. Okay.
Laugh all you want, Kev, but having kids will change your life. I can't see him all the time with work and all. But whenever I'm back home, he's always so excited to see me. When I see that, I feel like, you know, I want to do whatever I can to keep him happy.
Sure, I hear you. But look, man, I was just having some fun in Mexico. Wasn't seriously searching for a wife or anything.
I know, but separate from that, I just think you've gotten too damn picky.
Wow.
I can understand trying to find the ideal woman when you're young, but you know what? It's those little imperfections, those idiosyncrasies that keep things interesting in the long run. You come to appreciate that kind of stuff in a lifetime relationship.
Idiosyncrasies, huh? Like if she snores or she talks loud during movies?
Well, not if she talks during movies. A man's got to have some standards.
Of course. Also, I mean, you know, he's what, 31? That's what it says right there. Women don't want you when you're young because you don't have money. And especially these days, like the dating market's just fucked. So, I mean, it's really bad. If you're a guy trying to date now, like I'm done. I'm done with all that. Just because with like all the dating apps and stuff, women are all going for the same small group of dudes. They want, and what's worse is they look at that as the norm, as the minimum, right? So they're like, oh, Henry Cavill, you know, primetime Brad Pitt, George Clooney, whatever, when they were at their peak, they look at that as like a 5, right? There's this, was it OkCupid or Match.com did, it evaluated how people rate, and men actually rate more objectively, right? So 5 is a 5, a 2 is a 2, a 9 is a 9, that sort of thing. Women rate subjectively, as in, they they skew towards the lower end. So if you look at a person and you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, drop that by like 4 points, and that's what they think. So 9s and 10s are 9s and 10s, but if you're an 8, let's say 8s are 8s. If you're a 7, you're a 4. Right? It's either you're at the peak or you're shit. Right? There's nothing else, right? And so, you know, women, especially with the open dating and stuff, they want ones that are rich, handsome, and have everything. And the problem is all those other women want it too. But so women tend to play around when they're young because women have youth, right? Women start at the top and then lose their value over time because, you know, men are attracted to youth and beauty. Whereas men, when they're young, they're invisible to women, right? So they have to build up their value. So men hit their financial stride in about their 40s, 50s, right? So Kevin is actually in a good spot to start looking for a wife now, especially because if he has dated, you know, now he understands kind of what's going on, especially as a black man. Like, man, it's black culture is like it's a gynocentric culture. It's very matriarchal, and it is falling apart. So if he's Kevin seems to be like a man with his head on his shoulders, like like in a good position and all that stuff. Good luck finding a stable black woman, but Kevin seems like a good guy, right? And that's all that you can really ask for, and especially in his 30s, decent money, presumably, The interesting thing is him being in a security firm, you could actually do like background checks. They will do background checks on the woman. So any woman that I was going to seriously consider for a relationship, that's what I would do. And it sounds terrible, but I'd hire a private contractor and be like, tear apart her life. Go into all of her social media. I want to know everything about her, right? Because they talk about, Ryan's like, oh, lifetime relationship. There are no lifetime relationships anymore. No, especially with social media. Women see other women. It's the saying, like, single women keep women single. Women, they only post the best stuff online. They don't post the drama and all that shit. It's all about, everything's fake, right? So you see all these women that are happily single, but they're only doing it when they're young. They're only happily single when they're young, and they're able to actually sleep with the top dudes. Once they hit their late 20s, early 30s, they start aging a little bit. Men are like, why am I going to put up with you when I could deal with someone younger and hotter, right? Especially if, like, these dudes aren't looking for commitments, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I think what's going on in the black community now is going to start spreading to the rest of, like, Western civilizations and stuff. It's not going to be good, but yeah, I think Kevin's in a good spot. They're like, oh, get married, you're getting older. It's like, no, it's not the same for dudes. I don't know how old Courtney is, 30-something. If she's not married, it's getting a little late.
This trial mentioned someone from any
Oh, cool.
No, maybe if that.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing, is like, older women, don't listen. If you're a young woman, don't listen to older women. Because older women will hate their lives, and they'll tell you, like, play the field while you're young, do this, do that. It's like, no, don't do any of that stuff. Find someone that's a good person, and then stick with them, because they'll stick with you. Your women especially need to look at it long term, right? Because they're on the downward slope of sexual market value, right? You get this with someone good that's going to take care of you, and then you spend the rest of your lives together. Don't fuck around, especially with the whole, like, there's all the like pair bonding, the oxytocin, and all the different, like, chemicals and stuff. There was like a study that women that have sex, like, after, their chances of having a long-term relationship are whatever they are to start with, but once they have, if they have sex with, like, one person that's not their husband before they get married, then their odds of having a long-term relationship drop by like 20% or something like that. And then I think it maxes out at like 5 to 10. Maybe it's 10, but at like 10, odds of having a successful long-term relationship is like in the teens, right? Because women bond through sexual activity. That's why, like, virgins were so precious back in the day, not just because of that, but also because of, lineage and everything else. But but especially if a woman just, like, gets used to dumping a dude at the first hint of trouble, she's not a long-term candidate. Because the minute things get rough, she's gonna ditch. and especially women love drama. So they're going to be like, oh, my dude was never, he was, they want a rich guy, but they're not willing to put up with the long work hours, but they want everything, and they want it to be a contradiction, and yeah, it's whatever.
Remember now, Raiden. Left hands. Recover as many as you can.
I got it, Doc. I got it. I'll bring back all the flash memory you can handle.
Holographic memory. It's very different from standard semiconductor memory,
Yeah. But it's still solid-state storage, right?
Well, yes, but they are perhaps more different than they are similar. Holographic memory utilizes the same optical interference that holograms rely upon.
Right. That image is used to appear 3D.
Traditional media reads and writes bits on a two-dimensional surface in linear fashion. Holographic memory, however, does this in 3 dimensions, using light at different angles.
And that gives you what?
Speed. It can read over a gigabit of data in a second. And capacity. A 2-inch square cube of lithium niobate crystal can store 4 terabytes of data. It is also highly resilient against data loss caused by damage to any part of its media. This is because the bit information is not localized, but used as an optical diffractor across the medium. For battle data, there is no better type of storage.
Huh.
Beats having a hard drive clacking away inside your arm anyway.
Indeed. Spinning media. Hard to imagine we ever put up with such nonsense.
Well, that was what we had at the time.
So, Doc, what kind of data can you extract from those left hands anyway?
Oh, all manner of information. But the short list? Energy consumption, damage level, intracranial and blood pressure, blood sugar, other vitals, GPS history, speed and acceleration data, radio and optical readings, recorded computations from the internal expert battle support system.
Doc.
Time-stamped readings of distortion and acceleration gauges whenever the body was impacted. Stress is applied to the CNT muscle fibers in all 4 limbs, as well as any localized breakdowns.
All right, Doc.
Power consumption rate, remaining battery charge, type and amount of weaponry used, codec logs and wavelengths, voice transcripts, encryption methods.
Okay, Doc, okay. Sorry I asked.
As a field of technology, cyborg warfare is still in its infancy, It is my duty as an engineer to collect and analyze as much data as possible for every conceivable situation. The resulting database will help drive future technology, both modifications and advances.
Makes sense. But why the left hand? Why store it all there?
Accessibility. A unit can remove it with its own right hand, or it can be recovered if the unit is damaged. I would advise you not to remove your own holographic storage, however, unless absolutely necessary. To facilitate recording of everything you see, hear, and so on, it is tied directly to your cranial nerves. So, each time the storage is connected or disconnected, your hippocampus is stimulated. This can result in memory loss, flashbacks, and all manner of unpleasant effects.
Yeah, I have some experience with that. It's a little more than unpleasant.
What was he talking about? Flashbacks and stuff? He's talking about the S3 situation, the big shell incident towards the end where he's like strapped to the table naked.
Perhaps we could chit-chat later, Raiden. I'd hate to occupy too much of your time.
Cool. Yeah, I guess this episode is just going to be all codec stuff, which is fine. Courtney we'll talk to in a minute. I want to talk to Wolf.
Wolf? You're a one-of-a-kind prototype, right?
Correct. I was originally conceived as a weapon to replace humans and cyborgs. Conversation and intelligent decision-making were deemed essential to the role. The project was eventually canceled after 3 years in development.
Why?
I have intelligence, but I lack a specific quality essential to any combatant.
What's that?
Brutality. I am not human, thus I lack the brutality inherent to humanity. I was shut down, then revived, apparently on Sundowner's orders.
Sundowner? But what's he want with you?
Unknown. A manifestation of his sense of humor, perhaps. As a machine, I am more sensitive to my fellow man than an actual fellow man. This amused him.
Guy has an odd sense of humor.
Interesting. Yeah. It's kind of like what the AI Rose said at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2. It's like, we develop weapons to humanely kill other humans, right? Like humans, brutality. I don't, I wouldn't necessarily say that brutality is a quality of humanity. I don't even know if it's necessary. Not necessarily to primates either. You know, because animals eat other animals while they're still alive, for example. You know, and like dolphins will rape other dolphins as a pack, right? But I don't know. Maybe it's intelligence. Intelligence, but like, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a lot of humans that are amused by other people, you know, getting fucked up or whatever. Right? And then women like seeing other women crash and burn. So,
you were under Mistral's command all this time?
I originally took orders from Sundowner, but not for long. As a novelty, I did not last. Mistral saw more potential in me.
What'd she see?
Unknown. However, she apparently enjoys the company of dogs. She demanded 100% obedience. As long as it was given, she treated me well.
seems like a dom.
She was looking for companionship?
That I cannot say. I still have relatively little communication experience with humans. My ability to read emotions not explicitly expressed by speech is lacking.
Interesting. I mean, everybody likes dogs, though. You know. And I mean, let's be honest too. Mistral is a woman. Women like to feel safe, right? Blade Wolf, pretty capable in combat, you know, and especially as loyal. Like, humans like to feel safe. That's why we like dogs. You know, but women especially like to feel safe. So, you know, it makes sense that on a subconscious level, they appreciate, like, you know, she'd appreciate Blade Wolf because he would be there to protect her. But yeah.
Wolf? You're one of a...
Correct.
Okay.
I was...
But what's...
That's interesting. All right, let's talk to Courtney. We might have already done this one.
I can't believe Dolzai...
Pretty... It's...
You got...
You know...
Yeah.
If that...
How's...
Well, the coup... Yeah.
Still...
Yeah.
I hope she didn't get to you. Wanting to protect the weak is... that's worth striving for.
Don't worry. I've heard more than a few supervillain spiels in my time.
It's true.
Maybe we had some things in common in our past, but not anymore. I bring my beliefs into every battle I fight. You want to call me foolish? Well, that's not going to change me.
I'm glad to hear that, Raiden.
Yeah, thanks. Riding out.
It sounds like Mistral also reminds me of which one? One of the Beauty and the Beasts. Was it Laughing Octopus or whatever? Where she killed all the people. Well, probably all of them, right? I think they all killed their attackers or whatever. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah.
Say, Hey, Raiden, where'd you get that hat you were wearing?
The sombrero? Well, picked it up at a souvenir store here. I guess I just kind of like the design. Also, when you're on a scout mission, it's vital that you use the local attire to blend into the background.
Yeah. I think it looked pretty good on you. You looked like some kind of mariachi singer.
Oh, you think so?
Yep. Only that's kind of a problem too.
Because he wasn't wearing the rest of it.
Well, I mean, that sombrero really is meant to be part of a mariachi costume. Mexicans don't wear hats like that normally.
Come on. The guy at the shop told me I'd look just like a local.
Yeah, a local tourist maybe. Look, you might see a lot of Mexican men wearing sombreros during their daily routines, but, nothing like that. They'd go for something a lot more simple and compact. Something not all that different from cowboy hats in the Old West.
Are you sure?
I don't know if it's true or not, but I have heard one theory about the modern cowboy hat. They say it's based on the sombreros the original Western settlers brought from Mexico.
Huh.
Of course, cowboy hats come in all shapes and sizes, so you can't really say a specific one's the cowboy hat.
Huh. Well, now I know why the locals were so eager to get a look at me.
That wasn't the hat.
I mean, the problem is cowboy hats. You could say it comes from the sombrero, sure, but there were always hats. You know, they had like the tricorn hat from the naval days. You just wanted something that sits on your head to protect your everything from the sun, you know, as well as like shade a little bit so you could see easier. But yeah. Wow, we're still going with her.
By the way, Raiden, have you ever eaten nopalitos? They're typically called nopales.
Huh. Oh, like that street vendor was selling. Nope. No pales.
Well, that's too bad. You really ought to try some while you're in the area.
Yeah, but it's from a cactus, right? Doesn't it taste all thin and watery?
Not at all. It's kind of like the flesh of aloe vera leaves or the seaweed used in Japanese cooking. It's got this really soft but crunchy texture, and it's really versatile. You can eat nopales as is in a salad, saute them, stir-fry them with steak, put them in tacos. You can even toss them in a blender to make some juice.
Sounds good.
I had no idea.
Tell me about it. I got hooked after Boris took me to this one Mexican restaurant. After that, I just had to learn more about them. Ooh, for example, they're really low in calories. They also have lots of soluble and insoluble fiber, which not only promotes digestion, but is great for maintaining healthy cholesterol and blood pressure levels. It's even thought to help prevent intestinal cancer. It's packed with healthy stuff too, like vitamins B and C, potassium, and iron.
Okay, I get it. It's good for you. So how does it taste?
Huh? I just told you.
Never mind. Probably can't capture any food down here anyway. Not that I'd need to. My muscles run on fuel cells, and I've got enough blood sugar to keep my brain running for another week.
Well, you can still eat though, right?
Yep.
So, how about we all go out for Mexican once you're done? Food's a lot more than just an energy supply, you know? It's meant to be enjoyed.
With that, I agree.
I'm pretty sure I have eaten. It's the prickly pear cactus. But you typically grill it and then you slice it up. Similar to green beans or asparagus, and okra-like texture when cooked. Yeah, traditionally used to help regulate blood sugar. Interesting. How does that work? Neat. Nopales. Or nopalitos, or whatever. Yeah. I appreciate the local food thing.
Raiden, can I ask you something?
Sure. What is it?
Just wondering, why'd you join Maverick in the first place?
Well, Boris and I go way back. Our first time working together was rescuing Sunny. That's Colonel Gerlukovich's granddaughter. He and Boris were good friends back in the USSR.
Right. The Patriots were holding her?
Yeah, I was mainly working with the PLA, but Boris was a huge help. His Russian military connections paid off big time. All his covert op experience, too. He wasn't working pro bono, of course, but he went above and beyond the call. The Patriots were a threat to everyone, not just America. He got that.
And when Paradise Lost disbanded, he formed a new outfit and got them all work.
Most of them, anyway, including me.
Did you ever consider another line of work? Something non-military, I mean?
I'm a cyborg, Courtney. What am I gonna do? Drive an ice cream truck? I can pass as normal from a distance, but up close, anyone can tell it's artificial skin. Good jobs aren't easy to come by these days, even for non-cyborgs, and I've got a family to feed. Besides, I've been fighting my whole life. It's just who I am.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pry.
It's fine, Courtney. No worries.
Still going.
So, Courtney, you've heard my story. What about you? How'd you end up at Maverick?
Me? Well, it's funny. I was a business major, actually. Thought I'd go for an MBA. When I was in school, there was a lot of talk about the widening gap between rich and poor. I figured I'd join the 1% and never have to worry about money again. Pretty noble, huh? Anyway, around then you started hearing all about this war economy stuff on the news. I was, I don't know, disgusted, I guess. Disillusioned, for sure.
And that changed your mind?
It wasn't just the war stuff that bothered me. It's everything it represented. How so much of what the first world enjoys comes at the expense of third world people. The more I researched, the more I realized how bad things are. Underreported, too. After that, money wasn't such a priority anymore. I know how trite that sounds, but it's true. I wasn't naive, though. I knew living in some hippie commune or going Amish wouldn't change anything. So I started looking for a career where I felt I might actually have an impact.
You didn't worry about working at a PMC? Becoming part of the problem?
Well, I wasn't going to sign up with just anybody. But not all PMCs are bad, you know? Some of them, sure. They'll do anything for a buck, no questions asked. That's why someone has to stand up to them. Protect the innocent from those guys.
That's us in a nutshell. So you did your homework and found Maverick.
Honestly, it was more dumb luck than anything else. I had a friend who knew I was interested in this kind of work who was also friends with Kevin. They introduced us, we set up a meeting, and here I am.
That's right. I always forget you and Kev went to the same school. Huh. Definitely not your typical path to joining a PMC, that's for sure.
I really am here to fix the world. I know it's a cliche, but there it is.
Well, I for one am glad to hear it.
And, I mean, if that's true, that's different than normal, right? Because most women are, well, they virtue signal, right? They don't care. They're like, yeah, free, you know, save the environment, all that stuff. But I need my, you know, fucking Starbucks or whatever. I need my, you know, like, end slavery, but also I need my iPhone mined where all the rare minerals are mined by, like, frickin', you know, slaves in the Middle East and Africa and shit like that, you know? So for her, actually, I mean, it's kind of a bit of an airhead. Be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to be one of the rich people so I don't have to worry about money. And then she actually started looking into it and was like, oh, you know, people suffer. And it's like, on the one hand, yes, that's true. You know, but the blood diamond stuff, for example, like there's plenty of diamonds, right? It's just that they're artificially controlled to keep the prices high. They only release a certain number of diamonds per year from the vault. Meanwhile, they lock down the mining and stuff, like, heavily. But like I said, women still go for diamonds, don't they? Right? They know, they're like, end slavery. Slavery is bad, but oh, diamonds are so amazing. I want them. You know? Wow, we're still going with her.
So how's it been since you joined Maverick, Courtney? About what you expected?
Not even close. I had no idea what I was signing up for. You deal in a lot of expensive weapons and equipment that can save people's lives. But at the same time, you can't just ignore the bottom line.
It's hard.
Catch yourself measuring lives and dollars and cents.
Yeah, the business side can get pretty messy.
Messy is right. But I won't just ignore it. I can't make informed decisions without confronting the ugly realities.
Not an easy burden to bear, Courtney.
Well, if it ever gets to be too much, I'll reconsider. But for now, I'm fine. I can handle it.
And see, I'd also like to point out the difference between, like, this. Like, Courtney is a character. She is well written. She actually has character and development. And think of it as, I'm pretty sure she had to be written by a dude, right? Because if you think of all the DEI and writers of today where women are all strong girl boss types, right? You think any of them would write Courtney today where she's like, hey, I actually wanted to make a difference. I did some research. I was like, holy shit, I'm in the wrong. Then I started doing this stuff, and it's like Courtney's, she's not virtue signaling. She's not, oblivious. She's actually, like, she sees things and she's like, holy shit, this is a real problem. And she deals with it as an adult, right? She's not one of these people that goes on social media and she's like bragging that she pays her bills like all these women do, where it's like, yeah, welcome to being an adult. I don't know why you think that's such a big fucking deal. That's like the bottom tier, right? That's like the bare minimum, right? Courtney, even though she's an airhead, she is mature. She's an adult. She actually has thoughts, not like all the, strong girl boss, whatever characters that are written today. Right? Not the whole fucking She-Hulk chick being like, I had it way harder than you because I get catcalled in the street and you just watched your mother die in front of you. Like, that's way hard. Being catcalled is way harder than that. It's like, that's not what she said. But she bragged about, oh, I have it way harder. I have more to deal with than you as a woman. It's like, did the writers even know that Hulk watched his mom get killed? Did they care? No. They just wanted to brag about how hard it is. Oh, being me is so hard. I'm such a victim all the time. Meanwhile, Courtney's like, she actually had an arc, right? She's like, oh, I wanted to be rich. Then I realized that, we actually profit off of the, suffering of others. And, well, I wanted to actually do something about that.
What's up? Okay, save complete. Don't let your guard down, okay?
Awesome. Wow, yeah, we haven't done anything, but this has been a pretty great little episode. We just talked to all of our peers, and now we can run forward without hesitation or regrets. Yeah, that was good. So that was it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, let me hear them. I do read all of them. I do try and respond to all of them as well. I'm a little socially retarded myself. Take a day or two to get back to people. And then, yeah. What is your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, I'm gonna go with, man, I had one too. But I guess I'll go with one comment I got about the game Unworthy, which I do recommend. I recommend if you like Souls style games. It's very interesting. It's pretty good. It's like a 2D black and white Souls style game. Very satisfying, more skill based, I think, than like grind or level based, or it's not necessarily number go up. It's like you actually have to learn the bosses and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely a hidden gem, like a true hidden gem. And so it was kind of neat getting a comment about it. Like, I couldn't remember. They're like, is this any good? Are there spells? And I'm just like, I have no idea. It's been years. You know what I mean? But yeah. So that's my unique puzzle moment. Hope for you guys just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. Hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.